Welcome to your favorite channel, where you'll learn everything you need to know to improve your health and lifestyle. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, and welcome. So today we're diving into a really cool question. Is the age on your driver's license, the number of candles on your cake, is that really your body's true age? We're going to talk all about biological age and, most importantly, how you can actually measure it.
I mean, you've definitely seen it, right? You know, the person who's 70 but just seems to have the energy of a 50-year-old, totally full of life. We all know someone like that. And it turns out, it's not just your imagination. There is some serious science behind what's going on.
And get this, it's not just about feeling younger. There was this incredible study on identical twins over the age of 70, and it found that the twin who simply looked younger to other people was way more likely to live longer. That tells us something huge. This isn't just skin deep. It's a real reflection of our health on the inside.
Okay, so to really get a handle on this, you have to think about it like this. We each have two different clocks ticking inside us. All right, first up, there's the one we all know and, well, maybe don't always love, our chronological age. This one's super simple. It's just the number of years you've been around, right? The candles on the cake, and it only moves in one direction.
But this is where things get really fascinating. See, your biological age, that's a totally different beast. It's all about how well your body is actually working, on the inside, at a cellular level. And here's the ticker, the really exciting part. You can actually change it. You can influence it.
So let's break it down. The main difference is this. Your chronological age is set in stone. It's just time. But your biological age, that's flexible. It's a real-time report card on your health. One tells you how many years you've been on Earth, the other tells you how well your body is actually doing on the journey.
Okay, so how in the world do we actually measure this biological age? Let's start with the first layer of clues, the stuff that's already inside you. So a great way to think about this is that your regular blood work from the doctor, that's basically like an internal mirror. It reflects what's really going on inside and can give you some big hints about your pace of aging.
And we're talking about things your doctor probably already checks, like your HbA1c, that tells the story of your blood sugar over months, or C-reactive protein, which is a huge red flag for chronic inflammation. And we know that inflammation is like pouring gasoline on the aging fire.
All right, so blood work is great. It tells us about our organs and systems. But if we want to get even more precise, we've got to go deeper. We've got to look right into our DNA.
Now, the really wild part is that the secret isn't actually in your genes themselves, the ones you were born with. It's in how they're being used. This is a field called epigenetics. It's all about how your lifestyle and your environment can literally flip switches on your genes, turning them on or off.
So one of the best known ways to track this is by looking at our telomeres. I love this analogy. Think of them like the little plastic caps at the end of your shoelaces. They protect your DNA. But every single time a cell divides, those little caps get a tiny bit shorter. The faster they wear down, the faster you're ager.
But today, the absolute cutting edge, the gold standard, really, is something called DNA methylation. This looks at these little chemical tags that get stuck onto your DNA over time. The pattern of these tags is like a code that changes as we get older. And scientists have gotten so good at reading this code, they've built these incredibly accurate epigenetic clocks.
Okay, this leads us to what I think is the most mind-blowing part of this whole story. Forget just knowing your biological age. What if you could know how fast you're aging, like right this second?
You see, the first wave of these tests were basically just clocks. They'd spit out a number and say, your biological age is 42, which is cool, but it's just a snapshot in time. It tells you your location, but it doesn't tell you your speed.
And that's the real question, isn't it? I mean, knowing how fast you're driving is way more important than just knowing what mile marker you're at. Are you aging at a nice steady pace? Or is your foot slammed on the accelerator? Or maybe, have you found the brake?
Well, that is exactly what this incredible new tool called Dunedin Pace can tell you. It's an algorithm that came out of this legendary study that's been following a group of people for decades. It doesn't give you an age, it gives you a rate. It's not a clock, it is literally a speedometer for your aging.
And if you're wondering why this matters so much, just look at the data. The research is crystal clear. People who are clocked as fast agers by the speedometer have a way higher risk of mortality. We're talking a huge difference. So this isn't just a fun little number to know. It's one of the most powerful predictors of your future health we've ever had.
Okay, so we've gone through all this amazing science. What's the bottom line? What do we do with this? Well, the most important message here, the most empowering one, is that this isn't your destiny. Your biological age, and even your pace of aging, are things you have real control over.
And the science is actually really clear on what works. We know the big levers you can pull to slow things down. We're talking about things like packing your diet with colorful, antioxidant-rich foods, making consistent quality sleep a non-negotiable priority, finding ways to manage your stress, and of course, staying active and avoiding the obvious stuff like tobacco and excess alcohol.
You know, it all boils down to this one simple but really powerful idea. You can't change your birthday, but you can absolutely change how your body handles the journey. You're more in the driver's seat than you think.
So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. Your chronological clock, well, that only ticks in one direction. We all know that. But the real question is, now that you know you have a second clock, a biological one, how are you going to set it?
Here are some tips to help you have a healthy and strong body and mind. Remember that we upload videos every day.
Today, we're building your personal blueprint for a longer, healthier life. Let's get into it. We'll start with a powerful idea from longevity expert Peter Attia. This is really our foundation, because the goal isn't just adding years to your life, right? It's about adding life to your years. And that brings us to a crucial concept, health span. It's the time you spend healthy and thriving. Okay, so how do we build that? Well, it turns out 3 key metrics powerfully predict how you'll age. First up is strength. You know, poor grip strength is actually a huge predictor of overall frailty. Next, muscle mass. Think of it like your body's armor, protecting you from injury and disease. And finally, VO2 max. This is all about your cardio fitness, a massive indicator of long-term health. All right, so how do you improve these? Let's dive into the first pillar of your plan, train your body. This is your weekly game plan. It's a balanced mix of stability, strength, and 2 types of cardio. To build that strength, focus on these key movements. And remember, protein is your essential building block. But training is only half the battle. So let's get into the second pillar, how you fuel your system. Fasting is a really powerful tool here. It's not just what you eat, but when you eat. Fasting basically hits a metabolic reset button, which can lower your risk for so many chronic diseases. And to support your body every day, focus on an anti-inflammatory diet full of whole foods. Which brings us to our final pillar. After all, you can't improve what you don't measure. We're talking about key biomarkers. They give you a look under the hood at your biological age. You should definitely discuss these tests with your doctor. Tracking them over time is a total game changer. So, what's the big takeaway? This isn't some quick fix. It's a lifelong process. So here it is, your healthy living plan, broken down into 3 simple, actionable steps. Look, aging happens to all of us. But how we age, that's a choice. What will you do today?
If you found this video helpful, please subscribe and help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers so I can bring you better content. See you tomorrow with a new video.